come on the hoops, 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 come on the hoops. There was a wee bit of a glitch there. I pressed the wrong button. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? It's time for the pre-match stream, the lineup reactions, the match preview, all of that jazz. It's good to see you as we're about to cross the 56,000 subscriber mark. By the way, we are, I think, let me just double check this whilst on air. Actually, I think we're about 5 subscribers away, so we could potentially hit it on this stream. Which would be very nice, very evil, very nice. But we've hit it apparently. Apparently we've hit 56k. It's not updated on my on-screen graphic, but apparently we've hit 56,000 subs. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Don't start the whole unsubscribing pish whilst you're at it. Please don't do that. We can't be arsed with that over here. It's time for Celtic's game in hand this evening against Aberdeen up at Pittodrie. It's a massive game. And look, listen, I'm not even going to bother with the whole. This is it for between now and the end of the season. Every game's a must-win. So I'm not going to start every one of these streams going, "Oh, it's a must-win." I probably still will. It's easy. It's easy clickbait, you know. But I'll try my best not to start every single stream by going, "What a massive game, must win." But tonight, it does feel, quite frankly, must win. The significance of the game is hard to actually put into perspective. Like, we could go into second place tonight, which is, of course, not where Celtic want to be. I wish this was a game where we were, comfortably top of the league, and I wish it was a game that could put us top. There's still a good bit of chasing to be done, but we need to put that point to use that we got at Ibrox on Saturday. We have to make it worth our time. In fact, if we don't, it would be pretty disappointing. And it would, I'm not going to say it would render our efforts useless. Well, it would if we lose. But it would certainly be a very dampening sort of feeling, I think, coming out of the game tonight. If we don't put that point to use and we don't take all 3. Look, the league table is on screen. We know what happens. If we don't win the game tonight, we don't overtake Rangers. It's as simple as that. If we do win, we leapfrog them into second place and we put ourselves within 5 points of Hearts. Now, 5 points is still not ideal. There's a lot of work to be done there, but with a game against Hearts to go, and with games against Rangers, and with Hearts to play all these same teams in the split, you're right back in it looking at Celtic as arguably one of the favourites, if not the favourite. It's crazy how these swings and roundabouts happen in football. There's a long ways to go, and I'm not going to use the term favourites to describe anybody at this point, but a win tonight would be absolutely massive. And I hope that we go out. Look, I'm going to go into the team and I'm going to get to your questions as quickly as possible here. I won't waste your time. I hope that we just get tucked in from the start. Make this as easy a watch as possible. And let's keep the momentum rolling. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Sunday wasn't ideal in the sense we didn't win the game. I would have much rather won the game against Rangers on Sunday. I would have much rather came out of Ibrox with 3 points. Then we could have been proper top of the world and singing all these different things. But I think that you look at Thursday and we won at Stuttgart. I don't care about all the rotations and the meaning of the game or whatever. We still went there and won. It does psychologically a world of good for the club. You look at that. You look at the comeback in the second half at Ibrox. A win tonight just keeps the good vibes flowing. And a comfortable win tonight, enough said. What else is there to say? So I want us to attack the game from the off. I want us to make sure we go out there and leave a reminder of who Celtic are. And I want to install a bit of fear and nervousness into Hearts. Hearts are the main worry right now. They are now the team at the top of the table by quite a distance. Rangers are still, sitting there. They're a bit of an issue. But Hearts are the real issue. Let's put some doubt in the back of their mind and let's remind them that Celtic are back. Thank you to Paddy Boy for the donation. Not a donation, for becoming a member. I appreciate that, brother. Welcome along. It's good to have you. Let's talk about the team then, shall we? Let's start with, of course, Celtic, our own starting 11 for this evening. As Yang cannot believe it, by the way, Yang is about to make his 100th appearance for Celtic. This came up in conversation, obviously, not too long ago in regards to Yang. And look, I'm not trying to put the boy down. Congratulations to him, right? But he probably isn't a conversation for one of the worst players to ever reach 100 appearances for the club. Because you need to have something about you to make 100 appearances for a football club, don't you? Like, I want to see the list of all of those who made it to 100. And I want to see where I'd rank Yang on that list. But nonetheless, we'll keep the vibes positive. I'm not trying to bring the poor boy down. He makes his 100th appearance for Celtic tonight. This is a very similar team to what I expected. If you go back to my video yesterday, I got 10 out of 11 correct, including the dropping of Dice and Maeda. The only one I didn't get correct, and the only the only thing that I got wrong, or the only kind of flaw from mine, is that Benjamin Nygren is dropped and Luke McCowan comes into the starting 11 for Celtic this evening. So the 11 goes as follows: Vinny Sinsalo in goals again. Julian Araujo, Dane Murray, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney is the back four. A midfield three of Luke McCowan, Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate. And a front three of Yang, Chavanchara and Tenekti out on the left. So it's a team that I was very close to expecting. As I said, the only thing that I thought would have been Nygren in the starting 11, might be just giving him a little bit of a rest, waiting to see if we need an impact off the bench and bring him on when required. But this is exactly what I was expecting. I think Maeda had to be dropped, to be quite honest. I seen somebody having a right strop at me yesterday in the comment section for even merely suggesting that that Maeda should be dropped because apparently he was tremendous in the second half at Ibrox. I mean, I thought he was better. I didn't think he was tremendous. If he was tremendous, he'd be scoring goals. He'd be creating chances. He wasn't doing any of that for me. So he's been dropped. He is on the bench. I think Tenekti deserves a start after his impact that he made at Ibrox. The only thing that I am unsure about is Nygren being on the bench. But as I said, if we can bring him on later, if he can make an impact in the game, then that's okay. And apart from that, it's a pretty solid side and pretty much what I would expect. In terms of the bench, the people on there, if you're wondering, we have Ross Doohan, Nygren, Adamu, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Sriracha, Maeda, Arthur, Forrest and Donovan. So once again, no Kelechi Iheanacho. I think that I'm very much willing to now go out and say this confidently. I think we've seen the last of Kelechi Iheanacho. I think his Celtic career is over. And I mean, opinions aside of all of that for a moment, it's not like a catastrophe or anything, but opinions aside, yeah, maybe coming back to the suggestion that I brought up in the video yesterday that Quinny took forward and suggested maybe it's something to do with a contract extension or something like that, when one more appearance triggers an extra year or an extra pay rise or something. It looks as though he's saying, I'm willing to go out and say that his Celtic career is done. I don't expect to see Iheanacho back in unless, and that's obviously with the asterisks, that Chavanchara or Adamu get injured between now and the end of the season. He's not there once again. Tony Ralston not there. I think his Celtic career is over as well. I would expect to see him moved on in the summer. I think there's a lot more of a positive reaction towards that. And Kasper Schmeichel, of course, still out ill. That isn't breaking news though. So if people are looking at this tonight going, oh, where's Schmeichel? Where's Schmeichel? Is he done? Whatever. No, he's still ill. He's still unwell. And Martin O'Neill confirmed that yesterday at the press conference. He is hoping to have him back for the game at Ibrox on Sunday. We'll leave our opinions about that to the side for a moment, whether or not you want him in. But yeah, Kasper Schmeichel still ill. That's the only reason he's not in the team tonight, according to Martin O'Neill via the press conference yesterday. So that is the Celtic team on screen now. Very quickly, thank you for the donation, Callum. I appreciate it, my man. You're a legend, saying we'll take any win, but a statement win would be class. And it's obviously a very easy point to agree with. I do agree. I would love a statement win. I would love Celtic to act as convincingly as possible in this game. Thank you to you, Avid Scott, for the 199 as well, saying that the Ox should have started today instead of Sunday. What makes you think he'll start on Sunday? Is what I would say. I don't think he starts on Sunday. I don't think he does. I don't think he starts tonight. I don't think he starts on Sunday either. I don't know if Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has many starts in him between now and the end of the season. I think we saw that he isn't maybe up to the speed we need. Maybe he is just that impact off the bench player, capitalise on tired legs later in the game type. I don't think we'll see many starts from him. I get your point. I hear it, take it on board. I don't think he'll start on Sunday. I don't think tonight has any great bearing on that. Thank you for the donation. And thank you to Dundas Montgomery for becoming a member of the channel as well. I appreciate that. Shall we very quickly dance over the Aberdeen team, and then I could take things into a Q&A for us all, and we can get your questions and answers ahead of tonight's game. It looks as though Aberdeen are setting up in a back five. I was expecting a back four. I had to rush and change the graphic last minute. But it looks as though it's a back five. Mitov, of course, in goals. Jensen over on the right with Mitchell, Frame, former Celt over on the left with a back three of Milne, Malloy, and is it Nielsen? Yes, Nielsen. Midfield three, another former Celt in there, Stuart Armstrong, alongside Cameron and Giger. And it looks as though it'll be two up top with Olasanya and Nisbet. So that seems to be the setup that Aberdeen are going for. I think it's a 5-3-2. don't take my word on it. I've done my own mathematical quadrangles to come up there. But yeah, it looks as though they're going for a back five, flat back five. You'd imagine that Jensen and Frame will probably attack the game when required, but it looks as though it's a back five for them. And that should be the Aberdeen side. So there is people in there that cause problems. I mean, Stuart Armstrong, I've not actually been really... Look, Aberdeen have been piss poor this year. Let's talk about the opposition exclusively for a moment here. Aberdeen are piss poor. They're really bad, in fact. I'm not even going to hide it. They're pish. They're really in a terrible way. They've not won a league game in a number of weeks now. Actually, I think the last league win came on the 24th of January, if I remember rightly. We don't really have any excuses to be going up here and dropping points. So I've not really kept up the likes. You know, I see Stuart Armstrong on... oh, you meant last Sunday. Sorry, Avid Scott. I appreciate the second donation to correct yourself. My bad. That's on me. But yeah, maybe you're right, by the way. Maybe you're right. No, in fact, you probably are right in retrospect. At the time... hindsight's a wonderful thing. But anyway, Armstrong, I wish I could sit here and say, oh, I've kept up with how he's been doing at Aberdeen. I've really not. But he is obviously a technically gifted player. In fact, one of the more technical gifted players I've had the joy of watching at Celtic over this past decade. Whether he makes an impact tonight, we'll wait and see. Nisbet can always cause problems. We know that. He's a mainstay up here. But yeah, apart from that, we shouldn't be struggling against Aberdeen. Look... To wrap up before I get into the Q&A, and thank you to Luke for being a member for 13 months and watching in the pub with my Eagles jersey on. Go Birds. And I go Birds to you too, sir. I appreciate that. The one thing that I would say, just to kind of wrap up before we switch over to yous, let's not make this stereotypically Celtic in regards to this season. Please, for the love of God, let's not make it stereotypically Celtic. And by that, what I mean is, you know, we've found ourselves on occasions going, you know, something to build on, something to be happy about, and then bang, slapped right back down because of, well, what has been just a pretty shit team to watch at times. I don't want that. I want this to be the proper foundations now to go on to the final 9 games of the season and feel confident about Celtic winning the league. I don't want this next 9 games to be a can we do it? I want it to be, no, we're going to do this. And I think you can make that a realistic conversation tonight if you go out there and you just batter Aberdeen. We should be doing that because they're terrible. They're really, really bad. And I don't think Aberdeen fans would have any quarrels with me saying that. They're, you know, it's actually nuts to me that this time 10 years ago, Aberdeen were firmly the second best team in the country. And now it looks as though Hearts are a team that could realistically be the first to break the Glasgow stronghold over Scottish football, the grip that we have, especially Celtic. It looks as though it's going to be Hearts, who this time 10 years ago were fluttering up and down between the top 2 divisions. So Aberdeen are in a poor position. We shouldn't be letting them gain any ground on what they're chasing. We should be making an example of them tonight. And look, I'll take any sort of win. Just to wrap up, I'll take any sort of win. But I really, really would prefer it to be a convincing blockbuster performance from Martin O'Neill's Celts. I want to use the term swashbuckling after this game. Do you know that? That's exactly what I want. Anyway, right, let's turn to you guys. Let's turn to the questions and I'll give you the answers. We have, by the way, over 800 live viewers at this point in time. These are amazing. These are the best. Please, if you haven't, go down below, hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Get your questions ready and I'll be back with you in a couple of moments' time. A big thank you, as always, to the sponsors who make these streams possible, and I'll answer everything as soon as I'm back. Today's live stream is brought to you by Cairns Heating Solutions. With the days getting a wee bit longer, it doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet with this chilly weather. And you know what that means. It's time to get your heating sorted. Cairns Heating Solutions is a local company based in Coatbridge, serving Lanarkshire and the surrounding areas. And they're hooking you up with a deal you just can't miss. They're offering a Worcester boiler supplied and fitted for just £2,500 with no hidden fees. But wait, there's more. For just £60, they'll carry out a boiler health check to make sure your home is safe and toasty all season long. Don't get caught in the cold. Give Cairns Heating Solutions a shout and keep those chills away. From boilers to radiators, CHS has you covered. Contact them at cairnsheatingsolutions@gmail.com or give them a call on 01236 338 448 for your free survey. And we are delighted to be supported by fellow professional within our community, Craig M. Bush, Independent Financial Advisor. While we focus on the 90 minutes on the pitch, Craig focuses on the next 30 years of your life. From independent pension advice to strategic wealth planning, he's here to ensure your financial legacy is as strong as our club's history. You can grab a free initial consultation with Craig today to see how he can help you keep more of what you earn. Check out the details below. Your capital is at risk. The value of investments can go down as well as up, and you may get back less than you invested. Tax treatment depends on individual circumstances and may be subject to change in the future. Craig M. Bush is an independent financial advisor with Money Advice and Planning Limited. Right, okay, let's get back to the matter at hand. That's, of course, Aberdeen and Celtic tonight. Get all your questions in, and we'll go through it all. I've seen a lot of people saying 56 is the graph. Yay! We've done it. The graphic is updated. We've hit 56,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. The number one most subscribed to Celtic channel on the platform. We're the best here, guys. We're the best. Not me. We're the best. We are the best. Thank you for the community that you've built. Let's try and get to 60k. We're not going to get to 60k by the end of the season. I'm firmly aware of that. But let's shoot for the moon, shall we? Thank you to Lupin, by the way, for kicking us off with the donation, saying congrats on the 56k. I'm on the hoops, and I'll get singing that towards the end of the stream. Trust me, I would appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. I would love to get that going. Thank you for the donation, Lupin. I appreciate it. That's what I was looking to say. Right, get all your questions in. Adam has successfully infiltrated Pataudry, which is good to hear. Not so much a fan of the come on you Reds at the end of that, but I will appreciate your efforts, Adam. Honestly, you shouldn't be outing yourself in case there's any Aberdeen fans watching. Don't dox yourself, Adam. Don't dox yourself, but enjoy yourself tonight. Hopefully you bring us some good luck, and if we lose, it's firmly down to you, and I hope you know about that. Do you think if we finish fourth that it would damage Martin O'Neill's legacy? We're not going to finish fourth. We're not going to, and I'm not going to get too negative bringing up points like that. We're going to try and stay as positive as possible. However, no, I don't think it would. I don't think it would damage. How can you damage a legacy that is, winning multiple league titles, multiple trophies, and taking Celtic to one of their only three European finals? I don't think it would damage it. Look, he's done all he can, and I don't think we will finish fourth. I don't think we will. I think we'll finish first or second. I'm confident of it. I'm feeling good. Until after tonight, when I say we are going to finish fourth. Imagine, look, this is the joy of this, isn't it? This is the joy of this. You feel so good at points, and we can be smashed right back down. Thank you, Aidan, for the 199. I appreciate it. We're all saying, Ryan, no cutting your hair until Celtic win 5 in a row. I don't have an awful lot of hair left. It doesn't grow at a very spectacular rate like the Boy United strand. You wouldn't get much joy out of that with me. I am balding at an alarming rate. So there's just no success in doing that. But I appreciate the sentiment, Aidan. I appreciate the donation. Thank you. Bailey, hello, how you doing? She says, hoping that Sebastian can get some goals and assists on the board today. He's been looking very lively recently. Yeah, look, he has been. And I've been incredibly harsh on Tenecti, and I know I have, and people will bring that up for years, especially if he turns out to be a good player for the club. But I've been harsh on him because I think he's deserved it most of the times. I don't think he's been all that great, but I will accept the fact that recently he's been one of Celtic's livelier players, and he's been making things happen for Celtic recently, and good, because I want that to happen. I think we need better. But he's got a big job between now and the end of the season, and who knows? He's somebody who it's hard to tell where the limit is. I'll give him that. In terms of potential, don't know where it goes. Very hard to read. He's been hot and cold. Maybe that's just a product of Celtic's season. But I hope he gets it. Look, I don't care who gets in the goals and the assists charts tonight. Just fucking make sure we get plenty of them. Jackie, hello, how you doing? She says that I hope that the second half Celtic from Sunday turn up for the full game tonight. I'm not well enough for another stressful game. I feel that. I hope you are well though, Jackie. I send my best wishes and prayers. Yeah, second half Celtic is what we need. It's as simple as that. There's no other way to look at it other than that second half. Extend that over 90 minutes. I know that's hard. I know that we've not got the greatest quality, and I know that some players maybe haven't got 90 minutes in their legs like that. But I want to extend. We need to stop this playing in 5-10 minute phases, 45 minute phases. We need to be able to extend it over the length of a full game. So has anybody got a game this season off the top of their head where we have played well for 90? Because I actually can't think of many. One that came to my head, and I don't even know if I'm misremembering it, was the 4-0 against Dundee United, and it was after Martin O'Neill had just come back. I can't remember. We beat Dundee, or was it his first tenure? And I feel like that was one of the games where I sat down and I went, oh, great performance, brilliant. First time I feel like we've seen that this year. But genuinely, does anybody have any off the top of their head? Because I certainly don't. Thank you, Alejandro, for the 199. You're an absolute legend, sir. Good to see you. He says he's definitely a talent. Ryan. Look, listen, I hope he is. I hope he is a talent. He's showed flashes of being a brilliant talent, but he's also showed flashes of being totally ineffective in terms of what a winger should bring to the game. That's why I've been so... I love a winger, especially at Celtic, who have been famous for their wingers throughout the existence of their club. Going all the way back to your Jimmy Johnstons, to where we are now with your Jotas. I want the wingers to be entertaining and effective, and there's just been games where Tenected has just switched off from being a totally effective player. So I hope we see it again. I hope him and Yang have good games tonight. I will be supporting them. I'll be cheering for them to do their best. I'd much rather come on here and gloat about them being good for one game than bad for one game. So let's have that. God, the chat is absolutely flying tonight. Ryan, who starts tonight, Murray or Arthur? Well, it's Dane Murray. The starting 11 is on screen. I don't know if you've seen it, but Dane Murray is starting. Benjamin Arthur, probably not going to see him between now and the end of the season, are we? Unless Dane Murray gets hooked or injured or whatever. Falkirk, people saying, is that the game I'm thinking of? Am I thinking of Falkirk? I had Dundee United in my head for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, how many fucking games can you rhyme off where we've played well over 90 minutes? I think it just sums up the point. Nancy against Aberdeen, by the way, was a good performance that day. It was a good performance. I remember I was there. Thoughts on Maida being dropped? Very simple. It should have been. There's no dispute in my head about it. Look, Dyson Maeda is somebody who next season I don't imagine will be a Celtic player. And I thank him for the service he's given this club, and we've had some tremendous days and nights with Dyson Maeda, and he's given this club an awful lot over the 3 or 4 year stretch he's been here now, or 4 or 5 year stretch he's been here now. But he doesn't deserve to be in the starting 11 at this minute in time. And I'm always I'm easily fooled by historical numbers and historical performances. Like, I'm at heart a traditionalist football fan when it comes to you play your best players. But I don't think Dyson Maeda does a very good case to suggest he is one of Celtic's best players, because the way that I look at it is, let's look at Mo Salah, right? I'm not comparing Maeda to Salah before some of you fucking go crazy at me, right? Mo Salah has been pretty pish this season. He scored his first goal since November in the league last night. Now, when he scored that and the commentators went off in their whole brew rah rah and went, oh, it's his first since November, can you believe that? But Salah is somebody who Liverpool fans can look at and go, even if he is off the boil, I have faith in him getting us a goal. I have faith that he'll create a moment of magic and he'll do whatever. I've lost that with Maeda. And he's the only player off the top of my head I feel like I can compare it to. Of course, he's nothing like Salah. I mean, the technical ability of Dyson Maeda isn't even fucking close to Georges Samaras, let alone Mohamed Salah. But the way that I look at it is, when Maeda has the ball in a moment where you're like, oh, I don't sit there and get excited or optimistic of him scoring or creating or whatever. I feel like he's going to blow it out the park. Whereas that doesn't happen with maybe players in similar sort of situations, players that are just off the boil. You know? So that's the only way I can really sum it up. Maeda shouldn't be in the Celtic starting 11 right now until somebody, if Tenected drops a stinker tonight, okay, you hook him and you bring Maeda on. But for me, I don't think you can justify Maeda starting the game. I don't think his historical numbers are enough to go off to suggest he's somebody that wins you a game right now. And that's the way that I would try and kind of summarise that. Aidan saying, with each of the top three showing how poor they can be, do you think we will look back on this season as the winners being the best of a bad bunch? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that, my mind. Look, if Celtic win the league, Martin O'Neill get the statue built, I'll be very grateful, I'll be very fucking happy, but I'll also be able to sit down and look at it honestly and go, it's probably the worst Celtic league winning Celtic side I've ever seen. Like, I think we can be honest about that. We can both things can be true. Like, we can enjoy it, we can love it, and we can lap it up and sing about it. But we can also acknowledge that it was a piss poor side that were probably quite lucky to get it over the line. I think that's going to be the case should we win the league. But of course, there's no guarantees of it's winning the league. So we'll talk about that depending on what happens between now and the end of the season. Stu, good to see you, mate. He says, evening Celts, unsure of this lineup. State of the pitch, Aberdeen playing with 6 hammer throwers. Feels like a long night going for 1-0 Celtic. Yeah, there is a lot of kind of mitigating factors in this game that I think will make it even more of a brutal watch for Celtic. One of them being the pitch, one of them being the potential flat back 5 for Aberdeen. But we've got to, we can't keep letting... This year, Celtic haven't done a good job at making you very confident against any sort of system. Like, I've went on about how Celtic can't handle the low block. I've also went on about how Celtic can't handle the high press. What can we handle, you know? This is why we need early goals. We need to force Aberdeen out of the game as quickly as possible. Like, an early goal for Celtic would just be a blessing tonight. An absolute blessing. Whether we get one or not is a completely different story. I'll be live for around the next 5 minutes or so. So if you're desperate for your questions to be answered, please keep getting them in. Do I think that Donovan will get a game again this season unless there's an injury to Julian Araujo? No. Maybe off the bench. If we're in a position where we're like 3 or 4-0 up in a game, yeah, I'm assuming we will see Donovan, but not starting. Unless Araujo gets hurt, it's got to be Araujo till the end of the season. And I even think if that's the case if Johnston comes back, to be honest. I think if Johnston comes back, he probably comes off the bench or whatever, but we'll, once again, we'll deal with that when that sort of comes. What's Stuart Armstrong getting revenge for? Did I miss something in the history of Stuart Armstrong, Celtic, or the past? Because I don't remember Stuart Armstrong particularly needing revenge. We cashed in on, what was it, like 10 million quid for the guy. But we'll wait and see. My main concern is, weirdly, if we do it, the board will think it can be a format going forward. I mean, you can't put anything past this board. Glasgow, Warley Rider. But, let's focus on trying to win it first, and then we can have those sorts of conversations. 3 points is all that matters, says Peter. Hard to disagree with that. It's of course the end of the day. It's your bread and butter. Player of the year so far. Funnily enough, I don't want to get dragged into this because we've got a lot to worry about before we start fucking thinking about player of the years. But this actually got brought up in my Celtic group chat right before the game, right before I went live tonight. And it was somebody brought up Yang making 100 appearances and going, wow, that's fucking nuts. He should never be making 100 appearances or whatever. And then one of the other boys replied, like, well, he's arguably our player of the year. In my opinion, I think that Kieran Tierney's making a late shout to be the player of the year. Whoever wins it's not winning it through glamour or real convincing season-long performances. Whoever wins it is winning it in a kind of who helped rally most at the end, I think. And I think that's why I think Kieran Tierney might win it. I think it obviously comes down to a fan vote. I think everybody's just going to lump their votes on Tierney. Tierney or Nygren, I think, is going to end up winning it, to be honest with you. But I think after the last few months, I think Tierney's going to be right in with a shout. Let's be real. Club Player of the Year awards are just vanity anyway. Like, they don't carry any real importance or significance. They do it to the players. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't give a toss, really. But we'll wait and see. Right, keep your questions coming. As I said, I'll be live for about 3 or 4 more minutes, so we'll try and get as many in as we can, and we'll try and cover as much different conversation as we can as well. I've seen a lot of people going for their player of the year shouts. We've got Katie or Scales, Nygren from Dundas as well. Dundas as well. Terekte, Sinisalo. I see Sinisalo. No, it's not Sinisalo. Luke McCowan, Scales. Luke McCowan. What? Some of these shouts are wild. I've seen a lot of Nygrens. I think Nygren might end up being the favourite. And I actually agree with this. And I'm going to... I want to get through a couple more points, right? But I went on the Celtic Exchange and I dubbed Nygren the potential bargain of the century at Celtic, right? And 10 games into the season, I'm holding my head in my hands going, why the fuck have I said that? You could probably go and find it. I'm sure it was on one of the main channel podcasts, not one of the ones on Patreon. I'm sure you can find the clip, and I said, I'm telling you right now, Benjamin Nygren will be the bargain of the decade at Celtic. £1.5 million, it'll be fantastic. 10 games in, I'm thinking, what a fucking stupid thing to say, Ryan. That's going to age like milk. If we win the league, a lot of it comes down to the goals that he's scored, and that alone could justify him as the bargain of the decade, by the way. So maybe I was onto something when I said it. But Arne Pengel says, Bailey, listen, I'm not completely against the shout of Arne Engels. Thank you, Cammy, for being a member for 15 months. I don't know how you put up with me. He says, Yang has been one of our more reliable players this season so far. Here's to 100 more. I don't disagree with your first point, but if I need to watch Yang play for Celtic 100 more times, Cammy, it could be the death of me. If you just want my brutal honesty. Also, thank you to Bailey for the 15 months as well, saying, highlighting it for emphasis, Arne Pengels all the way. That'll surely get the chat divided, Let's see. Oh God, there's so many. There's so much. The chat's flying. Who's my first chat? We're not going to get dragged into the manager chat tonight. Let's fucking win our game and then we can go through it. Yang for player of the year, says Jack. I think Yang will be. I think that the top 3 contenders are going to end up being Nigrin, Yang, and Tierney. I think that's going to end up being the top 3. I think that will be the 3 that end up with the most votes. Of course, you never end up seeing the results of the votes, but if they put it out in a pie chart for us, I'd be willing to put my fucking legs on it that those 3 would be the 3 with the most votes between them. So I'll wait and see. Right, let's get 1 or 2 more before I head away. How many viewers are we on now? 948. Wow. James, thank you, mate. He says we need a proper performance with goals to put the shitters on Hearts and Rangers, because let's be honest, after Sunday's comeback, they are both scared over our mentality to never give up. I don't disagree with you. I think you're right, and I think if you were caught, I said something very similar at the start of the stream. If you're in late, you might not have heard it, James, but I said, look, if we win tonight, I think the Hearts will have a bit of a scare in the back of their mind going, they're not far off. And if suddenly if we lose at Celtic Park to them, it's a 2-point gap. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's a great point. Right, one more and then I'll head off. One more and then I'll head off. God, so many. So many. I feel bad. I want to bring them all up, but I can't. If I finish off with Aiden saying it's starting to feel like 23-24 when we lost Jota and Starfelt and struggled a lot. We lost Kuhn, Kyogo and Greg Taylor, and it feels like we've lost our full 11. Yeah, it's got that sort of vibe to it. Yeah, we're certainly not in the greatest position. Anyway, right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Everybody enjoy the game this evening. I'll be back, of course, with the match reaction after the game. And God almighty, Celtic, please don't make me have a meltdown. Don't. Just keep it nice and easy. It's Frank I was about to say Frank Sinatra like he was two different people. As Frank Sinatra famously said, nice and easy. That's what I want from Celtic tonight. Everybody enjoy the game. Cheer on the hoops. Come on the hoops. Come on the hoops. I'll see you later on. Take care of yourselves.